So for the purposes of today, I am going to assume that I'm writing over Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. I tried to pick one that I saw a lot of people using. You know, if I picked wild geese, for example, nobody in this class wrote about wild geese. So what would be the point there? So if I have this as my poem and the article's based on it, when the process we did yesterday was no different than what we've been doing for weeks now. So the topic sentence should have included the name of the poem and the poet before we get into, hey, here's the meaning that's found in the poem and a device. So it should look something like, so here in my topic sentence, I've identified, hey, here's the poet, here's the poem. Here's the literary device that he uses, which is one step a lot of people didn't do at all with their response, especially if you're watching this online. God, pull up the quality of your work. And we want to talk a little bit about, hey, what's the meaning that's created there? So we're going to fast forward. I'm going to use the part that focuses on the literary device because that's where a lot of people either struggled or just didn't do at all. So if I'm kind of jumping here, this would look like maybe sentence 4 in that outline that we did. I would write something that says in line 6 of the poem, so I'm going to have that definite literary device mentioned here. I'm going to talk about an allusion, a reference to something else. I'm going to quote from the poem to show what he's saying. And then in my next sentence, I'm going to connect that. How does it help us to build meaning? So I'm going to explain the allusion and what it does. I'm going to explain how that works. And so we have a sentence that says, here's what the Garden of Eden was. It was ruined, which lets us see that loss. So I got it. What I now want to do is go, okay, what's my research have to say? Because our point here today is to find one quote in our research article that we can pull to help to support our assertion. If we go in and we find the reference guide for Nothing Gold Can Stay, if we look in there, there's a quote that specifically talks about this allusion. So you notice that in all of your articles, regardless of which poem you did, there are sections that break down the lines or stanzas, and in there they pretty much describe how do these literary devices work. So we want to look, hey, where's something that we can pull in that's going to support what we're already saying? Because likely you based what you wrote yesterday on what you read in the article, which was what we wanted you to do. We're just going to pull that quote over to support, hey, look, I'm not just making this up. It's there. It's something that I have. It's the point of research. It's supposed to show what we've learned. So I can pull and make it look like this. So I pulled these quotes out of that research article. Now I wrote the sentence first, but what I'm going to do is show you where did this come from, and then we're going to use it as a way to go, okay, how do I cite my source here? Because we still need to do that. So I'm going to switch over and pull the screen. So if you take a look, here's my research article. I'm on page 204 of the research article. And you notice right here is where I took that quote from. Frost introduces this emotion of loss, which could characterize the emotional quality of all the examples he utilizes in his poem. So I found this section, I found that quote and figured out how can I put it in to help me support what I'm saying. And now I'm going to go, all right, I got to make the turn here to start to talk about how to cite it. I know that I'm on page 204 of the book. They put these page numbers in, not to correlate online, but to say, hey, here's where the page is in the book. Then I'm going to go down here. At the very end of your article is the formatted source citation already done for you. It's right here. In order to do our citation at the end of the sentence, we need the first word that comes here. We talked about that on Monday. So it's nothing, and we know the page number is 204. So I'm going to go here. At the end of my sentence, before the period, I'm going to put in parentheses first the first word of the article. We said there are no authors here, so we're going to use that. I'm going to leave a space and then put the page number I found the quote on, and then a period. That's it. Notice that this tells us, hey, we know that this quote comes from the poem because we're focused on the poem. This quote here comes from this source. Once we have this part done, we need to do one more step today, which is to include that full citation that's at the end on our document. This is pretty easy, but we're going to need to do a little bit of swapping because this is a PDF. So you can highlight and copy this whole thing and then go to your response and paste it at the end. It's going to look a little tricky though. Because when you paste it over, it's probably going to look like this. So there are a couple of cleanup things we have to do because PDFs and text don't always work well. First, you notice here at the beginning and the end of the title, it has that weird ampersand QUOT. It's a way that they can code the quote in because it's a special character. So you need to delete both of those and replace it with an actual quotation around the title of the poem. It also can't carry over the italics. So the title of the book, Poetry for Students, needs to be italicized. And the title of the database, Literature Subcollection for Students, needs to be italicized. That's it. We don't have to do anything else besides copying it, pasting it, and cleaning up those three things. So what you're going to turn in today is that response again. And we want to look at, hey, is there a way we can clean this up a little bit if we maybe didn't have it fully done? Then include your one quote with that in-text citation at the end of the sentence. And then this at the end cleaned up. That's all. This helps us to see, hey, look, I've now made this a research response, not just something that's based on my own mind. So what it helps to do is show, look, what I'm saying in here isn't just what I think. It's actually been researched. It's been proved. So it gives you more credibility as a writer. If you need help today, if you want me to take a look at what you have done, 4 of us in this room, it's not that bad. I can come over and I can give you a yay or nay and make sure that we get full credit. So please take advantage of the